Howdy, and welcome back. I'm Steven, and this is FWP Reviews. Another month has flown by, and award season is really starting to kick off. The Oscars are just around the corner. And as per usual, I watched a whole lot of movies. Last month, a lot of great movies came out, but with that came a lot of not so great movies. Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of February 2021. Below Zero was a below average movie. In this movie, we see a prison transfer put on ice. Okay, I'll stop. Everyone is scrambling to escape until they realize what's outside might just be worse than what's inside. I'm starting to think that Javier Gutierrez is Spain's Liam Neeson. There were some cool concepts and cool set pieces, but this movie was ultimately too long-winded for its own good. Finding Ohana is Walmart Goonies. I said it. A brother and a sister search in the mountains of one of Hawaii's islands in hope to find a treasure that will help pay for their grandfather's hospital bills. A derivative and less than funny movie with about 20 too many Keanu Reeves jokes. You might think that that spells disaster, and you'd be right. Fake Famous is an interesting documentary, although it is a little bit condescending. A group of social media experts tries to take three nobodies and make them Instagram famous. The experiment is shockingly effective, and what follows is a surreal and interesting tale. Malcolm and Marie is probably one of the most dividing movies of the month or maybe even the year so far. I found it to be a straight shot down the middle at a solid mediocre, but not for lack of aspirations. It was of course one of the first movies shot during the pandemic, and it stars beautiful performances by John David Washington and Zendaya. The movie ultimately centers around a night-long argument where we see their relationship folding in on itself. I don't hate it at all, but I really don't understand the hype. It was hardly engaging, and I found the talent to be underutilized. Earwig the Witch is literally half of a movie, so it gets half of a segment. It is really kind of bland, and when it starts to look like it might heat up, the movie just ends. I don't know. I really do not know what's going on here. Space Sweepers is utterly absurd, but extremely entertaining. A society that has moved on from the dirty Earth and into the cleanness of space is threatened by a potential small child. The clean space is kept clean by space sweepers. One of these space sweeping groups finds the kids and realizes there's something more to this kid, so they decide to help hide the kid. Chaos unfolds in one of the most entertaining movies despite its structural issues as well as its subpar villain. Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek star in one of the biggest swings and misses of this year. A mind-bending tale about escaping false realities with some really good world building ultimately falls incredibly flat. Somewhere along the line in this movie, it just loses itself and it gets extremely vague for no good reason. People have compared this movie to The Matrix from what I've seen and just said it's really just a worse Matrix. I disagree with this statement because this movie is really its own thing. But it's not good though, don't get me wrong, it's not any good. Land sees Robin Wright star and have her directorial debut. A woman stricken with grief leaves society behind to live isolated from society in a cabin. She really struggles to survive until somebody extends a helping hand. This movie captures the survival elements of what it would require to do something like this pretty well. It also really effectively captures the natural duality of nature. Nature is incredibly beautiful in its untapped form, but it's also extremely dangerous, and it captures both of those sides really well. I think the story is pretty compelling, all things considered. It shoots a little high with the twist at the end, but it was decent enough to make this an enjoyable movie. I feel like I have been waiting for Saint Maud to come out for decades. That is how long it's felt like. It's finally here, and it's great. I think I did expect more from the movie, but it was great all things considered. I really enjoyed the run up to the end. There were some really great moments in the ending scenes, and I just really enjoyed it overall. Two teens stuck in a temporal anomaly attempt to find the good in it while navigating their new friendship. I didn't mind the plethora of tropes we found in this movie, besides the last one. The last one almost made me break my TV. That doesn't take away from this movie being a cute and pretty well acted movie. I'm a sucker for this kind of movie, and it delivers for the most part. To all the boys, always and forever. A wise man once said to me, "Do not cry because it happened. Be glad because it's over." And I am extremely glad that this trilogy is over. I found the first movie to be somewhat fresh and entertaining, but after that, the trilogy has just been downhill ever since. I started hating these movies because they're really just worst versions of romance movies you've already seen. They've got every single trope in there. They've got the, what are we gonna do about college? They've got the, parents, kids trying to date at the same time. They've got everything. And it's all not very good, except for the first one, because it was kind of original and it did its own thing. I really enjoyed that one. Really enjoyed might be an overstatement, but to All the Boys 3, I'm really glad that this is the last one because I don't think I could watch another one. All things considered, it's over. Time to celebrate. Judas and the Black Messiah is far and above the best movie of the year so far. The performances are A+, and it takes you on this roller coaster of emotions all the way through. We get to see a dramatized version of the death of Fred Hampton and the events that surrounded that. It is gut-wrenching and extremely well crafted. Framing Britney Spears is about the conservatorship over Britney Spears. There's some incredibly fascinating information in this documentary and I learned a lot from it. It's just not really well made overall. Tentacles. I will say the only reason that this movie didn't get a 1 out of 10 and it got a 2 out of 10 is because I did not have to watch any actual tentacle sex on my TV at night. I implore you to save your time and literally watch anything else. I Care Lotzie, Rosamund Pike, enjoyed to what may be her favorite kind of role. She does a great job in this movie, but I did not love this movie. This movie puts forth the air that it's confident, that it knows it's good, but I really just thought it was mediocre at best. Also, one thing that just really bugged me was how she was vaping, like it was supposed to be intimidating. I just wish that that would not become a thing in movies until I can think about a vape without thinking about Billy from my local high school vaping in the high school bathroom with 0 brain cells. Little Big Women sees a group of women dealing with the grief of the death of their estranged father. I love the performances and the strong themes in this movie. I just found it ultimately unengaging in parts. Nomadland is not my favorite movie I saw this month, but it's still great and really interesting. The direction is one of the best parts. Chloe Zhao does a good job in the directing role, and Frances McDormand does a great job in the starring role. The one thing I really enjoyed about this movie was how the camera work was done. All of the conversations were filmed close and in static shots, and it was really jarring at first, and I didn't realize why. I was just uncomfortable with it. And then immediately I started to pick up on the fact that it really just felt like you were standing in on the conversation, and the way the camera work and obviously the performances click together really make that seem that way. And then when you get the wide and sweeping shots, it's of the beautiful landscape that is just plaguing this movie, and it's just so beautiful to look at, and it gives you so much time for reflection. I just really loved all of that about it. I just wish it was a little bit less slow and a little less boring at times. Shadow in the Cloud is almost a harmless and enjoyable movie until this happened. When I tell you I was floored when that happened, I was literally rolling on the floor laughing. Chloe Grace Moretz does a good job otherwise, and my only other big complaint was the twist was eh. Flora and Ulysses is about a squirrel with superpowers, and yes, it is as dumb as it sounds. This movie is dumb and low effort for the most part. It doesn't feel like one of those ones that goes, oh, I didn't enjoy that, but I could see how a kid would enjoy that. It just felt like, to me, this might harm a child's development. I know that sounds harsh, but I really didn't like this movie. It's not all bad. I just couldn't get behind most of the jokes and most of the themes and most of the choices the movie made. The World's a Little Blurry is a documentary about Billie Eilish, and in the world where we have a sea of musician documentaries, this is a pretty solid one, all things considered. This documentary is deep cut and has some incredibly intimate moments in it. It really tells this story effectively about this like teenage superstar really that has millions and millions and millions of fans, and she's just turned 18 now. When this was being filmed, she wasn't even 18 yet. It showcases a lot of what the documentary needed to showcase, and then it takes several steps above that, and it's really well done. Tom and Jerry gets a new movie, and all I've got to say is why? I don't get it. With that, I'm gonna wrap this video up. February was a rough month for movies. We had some great ones, but it was balanced out by the pretty bad ones. March should be a really great month, and with some really fun blockbuster movies like Godzilla vs. Kong, Justice League, Falcon Winter Soldier's gonna start, WandaVision's gonna end. Like, we're eating good, hopefully. On the channel, I've also got a lot of great videos planned for this month, as it's been pretty much set in stone for about 2 months what the videos are going to be this month. The schedule may not be Sundays as usual. Some of them are going to fall on Wednesdays this month because of how the release schedule is with the big movies and just how I decided to play it out this month. There will be one every week no matter what, and for any of the changes, just keep an eye out on the channel, as well as keeping an eye on my channel at FWP Reviews 100. I always post when I put a new video there, and check it out just in general for daily written reviews. With that though, this is FWP Reviews signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.